Welcome back to Well this morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Shiza Hashmi. And if you were watching the first segment, I think it was really informative for all of us because together we learned about epidemiology and how actually there are people working in Pakistan by the facilities provided by the government who are now trying to make sure that no other outbreak or any disease comes to the country as well. Thank God for that. But now moving on, it's not just these scientists that are doing or bringing a great name to Pakistan. The youth, which now has a huge potential to actually drive the country in whatever direction they want, I think they're pretty responsible. And I'm saying that on the basis of the amount of people I have met on the show. They all come from different sectors or different walks of life, but the quality of work that they're bringing or the quality of name that they're bringing to the country, it is just brilliant. Which just reminds me, this was yesterday, one of the girls contacted me and well, she came here in the capacity of a tourist, but now she's an entrepreneur. You know how? She actually developed her own travel agency because she now realized that the tourism potential of Pakistan is immensely huge. And not only locals, but a lot of foreigners, hundreds of thousands of them are coming into Pakistan every year. So, well, the youth is making sure to use that opportunity too. And now she has a travel agency and she's helping a lot of people travel Pakistan, see the beauty of it, see the beauty of the culture of it. I actually happen to have a small informative report about the beauty of Pakistan and how tourism is taking us forward. Let's take a look at it, and when we come back, I'll be in conversation with some amazing youth and listen to their ideas about improving Pakistan.
Pakistan, the land of mesmerizing landscapes and wondrous mountains, is witnessing a thriving tourism industry. Prime Minister Imran Khan said that promotion of tourism in the country is one of his government's top priorities to generate revenue and job opportunities. He said that Pakistan had the potential to become a center of tourism, especially for the Muslim world since the rise of Islamophobia in the West. According to Latifur Rahman, spokesperson for tourism Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the number of tourists has overwhelmingly increased since May this year, and more than 65 billion rupees of business activities were generated by tourists in the province from May to July 2021. Elsewhere, Gilgit-Baltistan Minister of Tourism Raja Nasir Ali Khan revealed that up to 700,000 local and foreign tourists visited Gilgit-Baltistan during this year's summer season. This tourist influx has helped the sector revive after last year's travel restrictions. Multiple initiatives are being taken to harness the full potential of tourism in Pakistan. Pakistan International Airlines has been carrying 4 to 5 flights from various cities to Gilgit-Baltistan every week to improve air access to the region. Negotiations are underway with Nepal and Gulf countries to start one international flight to the area as an experiment. Moreover, the Civil Aviation Authority is also set to start helicopter flights for Skardu and Gilgit to promote tourism.
Well, this is just brilliant, and I actually want to give a shout out to Amna over here, our internee, who is doing a brilliant job in making these reports and then, well, of course, helping our producer Hasnan as well. So thank you guys, you are brilliant. Right now, I'm going to be introducing the youth activists I was talking about, and let's get to the challenges that we think, or let's get to the challenges they think that still exist in the country and what ideas they have to solve those challenges. First of all, I happen to have someone who is also a writer along with being a youth activist. He's none other than Mr. Asim Nawaz Abbasi. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on the show.
It's my pleasure, absolutely. Next to Asim, we have someone who, again, happens to be, of course, a youth and a social activist, also a writer. He's none other than Syed Shahzaib. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much for having me.
It's my pleasure. Asim, I think I'm going to start the conversation with you. How long, first of all, have you been a youth activist for? I want you both to actually tell me that one cause that drove you to be an activist. You know, because you do have these thoughts in your mind, I want to do something for the country, but then one incident happens and then you're like, I really have to be the voice. Yeah. What was it for you?
Yep. The topic you have chosen today for today's program is very much important in the context of Pakistan, because in a country like Pakistan, which is having young population, which is one of the youngest countries of the world, having 64% of its population below the age of 30. It's very much important to discuss issues of youth and what role youth can make and what role youth is playing for the development of the country. As far as your question is concerned and how long I have been involved in these activities, it's been a long time. It's been, I think it's been 7 to 8 years I've been involved in these activities. And coming to this field, the idea that I came to this field was to work for the youth of Pakistan, as I said earlier, that because we are living in a youth-purged country, and this the current youth purge can be turned into a greatest dividend if we are able to capitalize on it. There are always two sides of the picture. The shady one and the positive side. Yeah.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the lack of employment opportunities, lack of social engagements, and lack of social justices, the unequal education system and health systems. These are the things that are actually turning this dividend into a ticking bomb. So we need to work on it. As you said earlier in the previous segment, I was listening, that the government has actually launched a single national curriculum, which is a great initiative. So such kind of activities or such kind of initiatives needs to be done at a rapid speed, because we are already lagging behind from the world. And so this is the right time to invest on youth and to build their capabilities, to invest on their capacity building, to invest on education sector. The education sector, when you talk about education sector, there is a big gap between, I personally think there is a big gap between education and the industry. There should be an industry-academia linkage, because when a student comes out of the university or college after his or her graduation, he or she sees a completely new world. Yes. Because what he has learned during the period of his education in the universities it's a different, because it is bookish knowledge, and in the industry, when he or she comes into the industry, he sees a completely new world. So there should be an industry-academia linkage.
I agree with you 100%.
What is demanded in the market, he should be learning what is actually demanded in the market. Absolutely. So these are the things that needs to be done.
Asim, you actually did raise quite some valid points, and we are going to take on to them one by one. And I think I 100% stand by you where you said that we need to, get our hands onto some practical knowledge so that we can directly land into the industry right after we've received our education. Because, well, I did get some amazing marks in my matriculation examination as well, but till date, I have never used those theorems that I learned. I tell you that. All 20 of them I learned. I've never used those theorems. Like, why did I even learn them? But moving on to you, Shahzaib, yes. Let us know what made you become a social activist, and then adding on to the challenges that we're discussing. What do you think are some?
Yeah, to start with the challenges that the youth of Pakistan is facing right now, I personally think that the core issue of Pakistani youth is that we have never been told by our parents that what you actually need to do with your life.
Okay, but we've always been told kuch bada karo, right?
You're absolutely right. Kuch bada karo means ke something, if you want to do something, you have to have a degree with it. That's not the case, actually.
True.
Let me tell you one thing, that entrepreneurship in Pakistan is still not properly implemented by the government.
Okay.
We have to be, aware of the fact that entrepreneurship across the world is working out very well. But in Pakistan, if we see that our youth, when they are done with their studies, if for instance somebody is passed out by the university, now he is looking forward for a job.
Yeah.
Why is he looking forward for a job only? Why isn't he or she working himself or herself for a better business or a personal little venture with some companies?
Why do you think
that? Let me give you an example. What I did in my past 2 years.
Okay.
I have made my office of marketing and real estate. So what I did is that I associated my office to this institution of training and programs, different programs. I associated my office with them, and then I told them that you have all the leverage of telling me that you have the complete knowledge of real estate and marketing, and then you can refer your trained youth towards me, okay? And I'll give them the jobs and the opportunities.
Okay.
First of all, the thing that my fellow mate has said, I respect his opinion very much. It is really very important to create a linkage between the industries with the education system. But the second thing is the entrepreneurship. If you're not going for the entrepreneurship, this much youth of any country, you know, I think we're in total 13 crores and something in numbers. So this much youth cannot be adjusted in the industry as a jobian.
Adding to Shahzaib's point, there was a report in 2020 last year of UNDP's, and it says that 39% of Pakistani youth is illiterate, and only 6% of youth is having 12 years of education or more than that.
Exactly.
So there's another alarming fact that every year, and I'm not saying this, actually there are some credible surveys that are saying this, that there are around 4 million youth that enter the job market every year in Pakistan.
Okay.
So although government has started a very good program called Kamyab Jawan program, but it is not able to absorb 2 million or 4 million youth every year.
It's not possible. How can you do it overnight as well?
Yes, if I can add another point into it, it's not really sufficient for the youth of Pakistan. The number of youth that we have really in the country, it's not sufficient enough for the number of people. And then once again, if I must tell you that in 2016 survey, I was reading the United Nations survey of literacy of Pakistan. They told us that you are just claiming 42% of the literacy rate. It's not the case.
Gentlemen, that was going to be my next question, because what is literacy? If you can write your name, if you can make a sign,
as per Yun's definition,
yes.
Oh my God, it bothers me. It really baffles me, because you know what? Someone selling sabzi at a small corner in my village knows how to write his name in Urdu, but that, you know, that does not make you educated or informed, because I feel like this is our struggle. As long as your mind is not enlightened or informed or educated, I do not think we can get rid of the menaces like unemployment, like domestic violence, like the child abuse, like sexual abuse, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about literacy. How can you even say 46% is literate?
Actually, this single national curriculum, I think it's going to help a lot. Because
is it though?
Because previously we had one problem. The international curriculum that we had in our country was working very well.
Okay.
But as it was not in the access of the poor people, and the majority of the country, unfortunately, is poor.
Goes to public schools.
Yeah, they goes to the public school. And one more thing to this point is that they were completely unable to understand what the international standard of studies are.
Okay.
So that now we are going to, what now Imran Khan has done is unimaginable, and that is tremendous for the youth of the country, because of the fact that now the common peoples and the common people and their children, they are going to know that what is the studies syllabus is actually in the world.
Absolutely.
Nowadays everyone is talking about sustainable development goals. The goal that is actually talking about education, it says it doesn't talk only about education. It actually talks about quality education. And Article 25A of Pakistani Constitution also talks about the same, the quality of education. So the single national curriculum is a good initiative, but next step should be to improve the quality of education in public sectors actually.
Okay.
Because when we see the public sector education, especially primary up to primary to middle and then to the greater levels, we don't see any quality education. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, no, and I do agree with you, definitely. Again, you know what, a lot of you people who do regularly watch my show must know I have a lot of examples and stories from my village, because, well, I do spend some time there, and I like to relate, and I like to, you know, just observe the lives of people. So let me tell you why a single national curriculum is important. So imagine I was as young as probably, I don't know, 7 years old, and I'm in my village, and I'm in conversation with some students over there who study in a school in the village, right?
Okay.
And that person, and they are from the 6th grade, and they come to me with their English book. If you know, can you help me? And I'm 7 years old, so I'm helping a 6th grader. Okay. See what A is. A is for aeroplane, and that is in the 6th grade. So, which is why I think it is absolutely important, and it is a great idea to make sure that all the students are at par in terms of receiving the quality education. Right?
And we have to understand in our country, by the government and by the public, that we are equally eligible for all the study process.
Absolutely.
And the thing that I was telling you before is that we haven't been told by our parents that what you need to do with your life in terms of earning money. Okay, at the end of the day, it's not really just about the awareness or the education. It's about how you what do you do with your life. I mean, in terms of finance. So if we are doing entrepreneurship, I personally prefer people over a job in an entrepreneur.
I do too,
because of the fact that they are doing a lot well. There's an example of recent past. We have seen on the social media. The video was viral on the social media that there's this guy who's been passed out from lumps long before. Now he's an elderly guy, but still we can take an example of him. He was jobless for a couple of years. He asked for the help from everyone and anyone from the close circle and the people he know, but nobody could do something for him. So what he did is, like, he made a little bit of food stuff to sell at his home.
Was that a true story? The stand that he made to sell?
Yeah, exactly. It was a true story. He was from Lums, minded. I mean, a Lums guy is jobless in Pakistan.
And we aspire to go to Lums, right?
Yeah, people are looking forward towards to study in Lums.
Of course.
But still. And this guy, he was telling me, I was there in person to see him in Blue Area. I was there. I went to him and I saw him. I asked him a few questions to get myself aware of what is going on. So he told me that, okay, Shahzaib, what happened to me is that I was jobless for a couple of years. I was so helpless. I had no money on me. I was asking for the help from everyone that I know, but nobody could. And then eventually what I did is that I made some food stuff at my place. I started selling it. The first day was very tough. The second day, the third day, gradually I increased my income. And now he is able to run his own restaurant in Beria town.
Brilliant.
And now he's making a lot of money. You cannot imagine. One Jobian can just not imagine the money he's making right now.
You know what? Even our religion tells us that in business, the income is 7-fold more than it is in a job. So I think we can learn something from that. So gentlemen, so far we have established that, of course, one of the major issues or the challenges that the youth of Pakistan is still facing, even after a lot of hard work, is unemployment. Now, Asim, we take pride, and being on the state channel, I've often spoken about it, we take pride in the incubation centers that the government has launched, and they want to talk about how they are helping everyone. But research says that within 2 to 5 years, 90% of the startups fail and do not go on. So you did mention with your own self that jobs are not enough because the bulge is so huge. So how can we improve the entrepreneurship culture?
Apart from all the negative things that we have discussed so far, there are a few things, positive things about Pakistan.
Even these are positive, but we have
there's startup culture, and startup culture is thriving in Pakistan. I'm giving you an example. In 2017, there were only 9 startups that got venture capital from Pakistan. And as compared to Nigeria, it got 34, and India, there were more than 700 startups who got venture capital. But with the passage of time, in 2019, Pakistani startups were raised to 32, and in the last year, 2020, they were 42. So see the rapid increase in the startup culture. So there are some positive things that are being done on the Pakistani side. So another major sector that we can improve, and we have potential. We have potential in every sector, but there are few sectors that we can improve with the more rapid speed. One of them is IT sector. We have seen that the exports, Pakistan's IT exports have improved a lot in last couple of years. So Pakistan's freelance market is a huge potential. Pakistan's freelance market stands among top 3 countries in the world. So government should invest and should make them able to work on those technologies that are demanded in the outer world. So government should support youngsters, start incubation centers.
And another thing into
yes,
this
if
point.
you can please quickly, because we're really short on time.
Surely, just a minute.
No
It is the matter of learning the process of being an entrepreneur.
That's true.
This is what we are lacking.
And we're not taught that.
You know what? If I'm completely now starting my own venture, I have to learn it before from somewhere.
True. That's true.
This is the most important point to be an entrepreneur. If not, then I'll not be able. Then my startup will be failing.
Absolutely, and I think this is where the training and the practical knowledge comes in that we begin the conversation with.
Exactly.
But thank you so much, Asim and Shahzaib, both of you, for being here with your brilliant ideas and brilliant minds. And I feel like this is the type of I want to say these are the thoughts that we need to take forward, or this is the type of thinking and the mindset that we all need to have in case we want Pakistan to improve. We are all here. I mean, we love Pakistan and we love discussing things that can change things, make things better for the country. And today was a similar day. If you did watch the show, you would know that we discussed, of course, the single national curriculum along with some of the challenges posed to the youth, along with how to control an epidemic or a pandemic. If you still have any questions about all of these topics, you can write to me on my social media pages, all with the name of World This Morning on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And the repeat of this one you will be able to catch tonight by 5 past midnight. Till the next time, take care. Good morning.